Hey guys, what's up? It's me, TheDominusIgnis, and today I'm back once again with DSL. Yes, I know what day it is today. It's not April Fool's. I mean, it's not an April Fool's video, I promise you. And so to start us off, let's just have a look at what's been going on in OW. OW4 has been happening. I think it has just ended at the time of recording. But like, honestly, all in all, I'm not too disappointed with how I did. Wipeout definitely didn't do as well as it did before. That's, I've got that needs to be improved. But it was, again, pretty close, so I will say this, it didn't do terribly, Wipeout disappointed. Hell's Angel clawed back to an acceptable performance again, which I'm quite happy with. Hammerbots kind of seem to struggle to do well, so the fact that Hell's Angel is able to claw out a half-decent performance, I'm pretty happy with. Hell's Angel's never going to be like on the same level as like EWAT or anything like that, so, I'm happy. And Death Valley was the biggest surprise because I had no expectations for it going into this, and it ended up actually doing really well. Well, I say really well, I mean as in like it very nearly got into the round of 32. Which means it was basically about as successful as the other two, but given it's a grabber and lifter, and basically those have like very little chance of doing well, again, I'm quite happy. Now the thing is coming to with OW5 is how do I make improvements, and there's been a few things that I've had to think about. Firstly is Hell's Angel. So Hell's Angel's been about since OW2, and like I've said before, was my first ever tournament entrant, and it's actually improved quite a bit since the original days. Like, I'll get like a side-by-side comparison in a little bit. Actually, I'll edit it in. There you go. Look at that. It's crazy. Like, you see how bulky the original is? 4 TWMR3 motors, whereas now it's like 4 NPC motors. It's like, Hell's Angel has come quite a ways. Hell's Angel's a lot sleeker now. It's got an actual Shreemec. Like, all in all, it's something I'm really happy has come as far as it has. However, there is the one key problem. Where do I go with Hell's Angel now? You see, the thing is like, Hell's Angel works the way it does by being sleek, and you can't really use like a beta motor with that. Like, I tried, that didn't work very well. And so like the type of motors that I need are sleek, and these motors don't pull back enough to actually work as... You couldn't use this motor as a hammer and a Shreemec at the same time, which is why you need two. So I'm kind of at a crossroads here. I could do a beta motor version, and I am considering having another swing at that, but I'm not sure. Basically, there's a possibility, though I am still thinking on it, that I might just retire Hell's Angel if I can't think of like a good direction to take him in. So, there'll be some updates on that, but, if I think of anything. But if you don't hear anything about Hell's Angel anymore, then take that as a given that Hell's Angel has gone to retire now that I've got robots that are doing surprisingly well for themselves. And if he does retire, he's actually had a very decent run, I'd say. Like, he had a weird little middle period where he was losing a lot of fights, but his performance has been bookended with, fairly decent records. He started in by getting to the Heat final, and he ended by getting a decent win-loss record in OW4, which... To me, given how many robots there are in OW, that is that is what I feel was the best I could hope for. Like I said, I don't know if it's the end or not, because I feel like I could do something with Hell's Angel, but at the same stretch, I feel like if I make massive changes, I might as well just make a new robot. because I like to try and keep... I feel like when I make a robot, I like to try and keep it with that kind of identity. Apart from Death Valley. Death Valley has been completely different every single time I've made it. But ignoring Death Valley, I like to try and keep robots very much similar throughout their evolution. So if I was to make massive changes, I'd rather just make another Hammerbot. We'll wait and see, of course. That's obviously that'll be for another time. Let's take a look at what I've done for Wipeout. So Wipeout now has 4-wheel drive. That might not seem like much. 2-wheel drive was acceptable, but I think one problem for me was that robots could get around the sides of Wipeout, and Wipeout really wasn't maneuverable enough to be able to have an answer for that. Like, if someone got around the sides, it was just a case of Wipeout would kind of sluggishly turn around, whereas now it's a little bit more turning on a dime, Wipeout's faster. The flipper is obviously the same as ever. Like, Wipeout's flipper has never changed. It's always been those storm burst motors, and it's always been like, it's an exceptionally powerful flipper, really. Like, it's like, it's the reason why Wipeout, when it's self-right, kind of flings itself, because the motors are that powerful. One other addition I've made is I've added the little side bits to the wedge now, because again, one of Wipeout's big problems, I feel, is when robots get around it, Wipeout doesn't really have an answer, and I'm hoping that this will help out. Now, the other problem, obviously, is robots like Tuka-chan, I don't know if I've said that right, sorry to the creator, is like, you know, getting as low as possible, but I don't know how well I can change that. I've never been the greatest person at being very low to the ground, so I'm going to do what I can there, but I'm not going to try and add extenders and wedgelets in, because for me, I feel like that's going to add more complication as opposed to actually making it better. But, you know, Wipeout is a bit of a compact robot. I could see myself expanding it if need be. Wipeout is now actually pretty much at the weight limit, though, thanks to these additions. I'm hoping that these little additions will be what Wipeout needs to give it that little bit more of an edge. Death Valley hasn't had any changes yet, mainly because I don't know what changes to give it. I've heard like someone say that that Death Valley's a bit wide, and I could probably shrink it slightly. But to me, like, that would probably be like by like 1 bit on the chassis design, because to me the whole design kind of needs those NPC motors, in my opinion. I don't want Death Valley to be long, because I don't want robots to easily get around to the sides. So to me, the robot has to be like this, like, because it's already long like this. I don't need more length by having like TWMRs like powering the drive. Yeah, I think all I can do is just try and contain all these parts a little bit closer together. But, you know, and obviously work on making Death Valley even lower to the ground. But to me, Death Valley is, at least in my opinion, already at a very solid start. I just need to work on a few things here and there to maybe make Death Valley even more efficient, really. Because I think more so than the compact nature, I just need to see about if there's a way I can make Death Valley even more of a threat. Well, I guess we'll wait and see on that. But, you know, I'm gonna say I'm quite happy with Death Valley. There's 2 other robots I've been working on for potential OW5. Like, all I'm doing at the moment is I'm getting the robots ready, because from what I can tell, it's invite only. I'm going to be showing them to Mitch, and I'm going to be like, hey, here's the robots that I could have at the ready. You know, I'm not too fussed about which robots take part. So I've also been working on a Lord Scarecrow at Mitch's request, but while Lord Scarecrow has always had like this kind of like punching where he's like this, where it's just kind of like an outwards punch, kind of like that, the inspiration being like this other robot that was in the old Orcs Wars intro that I don't remember the name of. I always kind of liked that and wanted to make something like that, hence why Lord Scarecrow exists really in this form. But it's not a very effective weapon, especially nowadays when robots are so powerful. So Mitch has asked me to try and make Lord Scarecrow have some feasibility with its weapon, and all I've been able to say is I can try, but don't get your hopes up. That's what this is, but it's nowhere near done. I will show you that another time, because I am not making I'm not making an extender bot on these videos. Not in this Christian household. And then there's Barbarian, which Barbarian is just again another case of like I've said, is a robot. I'm very happy with how compact everything really is on it. I don't think it's very effective, but the fact that it's there, I do want to try and enter it into a tournament. Maybe not OW5, just a tournament would be nice. Then we go over to the Robottal Wars stuff. And we have got a lot going on here. So there's the Brimstone robots. I think I've mentioned them before. Overkill Wedge, little wedgelets. It's a powerful hammer. It's got flamethrower. The flamethrower version is more flamethrowers, just without a weapon this time. Which I think I made because I like Raging Scotsman. Over the Rainbow, Great Rear Hinge. With Wipeout, I decided I wasn't happy with the Wipeout I was making for Robottal Wars, so I've taken the OW Wipeout, upped it to Steel 10, and I've just decided to watch and see what happens. That's probably a big mistake. But at the same time, I really want to see what will happen. The thing is, the weapon itself is actually powerful enough that it will fling super heavyweights with no real issue. The only problem is, can the robot hold up to the kind of damage super heavyweights bring? If it can, then hey, maybe we're onto something. Then we have the Clusterbot of Poison Jab. I might have shown these before as a clusterbot called the Rhino Rippers, but I decided to make them, instead of asking James, aka Jim Dramatic, for the Rhino name, I decided to make it its own thing, and so now it's Poison Jab. So we got the horizontal spinner here. Yes, I've used Typhoon Teeth. I finally it's time to commit some sins. I decided I didn't want to go full sin. This isn't like a vert with a wedge. But, I wanted to go Clusterbots, because at the very least, I feel like that balances out. It's Typhoons, but it's also a robot that is 600 versus robots that are 1200. So I feel that balances it out. I have not fully sinned yet. Really, the main thing, I've just liked this kind of robot, robots like Rhino and Terror Wheel, these robots which are just got these gigantic weapons, which is the reason I made Poison Jab in the first place. I just like these oversized weapons. They're not reliable in any sense of the word. This thing is, had only enough weight for that kind of weapon motor. But, I just love watching it go. Oh, man. I have actually taken a look, by the way, and seen what would happen if I made, the vertical Poison Jab and just made that, but bigger. And so I do have this. This is Poison Jab Ultimate, and it's, I feel dirty whenever I use it. If I was to actually use this, which I don't really think I will, I would definitely have to get the weapon upwards a little bit more, just so it's not clipping into the chassis, but Jesus. This is why I don't like using Typhoons. This is why I'm only using Typhoons with a Clusterbot at the moment. This makes me feel dirty. We'll see this in action later in the video, just because I wanna show the sinning in action. It's a super heavyweight, obviously, but the Typhoons, it's I don't know, for me, there's enough Typhoon robots out there. In fact, I kind of made that clear with the Keeper here. So we got Keeper, he's all painted up, it's all lovely and all derpy-eyed, all happy, spinning hat. And it's just metas are for nerds. Nice Typhoons, Poindexter. Yeah, so, you know, there's the Keeper 2. Keeper 2 is actually, I'm going to say, surprisingly better than I thought it would be. Because I've made it as compact as it is, it's actually surprisingly good at holding itself together. Like, I don't know if this is going to do well, but it's also better than I think I'd expected it to be. Oh god, this is Lord Scarecrow Alpha. So there was a Walker weight bonus for Robottal Wars 1.5. Which is coming soon, by the way. We will have an update on that. And so I decided... Live in fear, you bitches! Also, this is a prototyping of what I plan the Lord Scarecrow weapon to become. Like a little uppercut of sorts. The thought process being... while it won't work here, because... Lord Scarecrow Alpha was just a case of making it even, like, just making it a thing. The idea will be, when I actually do it for realsies, is Rover goes up the wedge, boom! Kind of like a little flipper. The weakest flipper of all time, but, you know, a flipper. Blunt Force Trauma Omega's now had his paint job. Oi, my wedge is up here, there it is. Blunt Force Trauma Omega, and just you wait till I'm upright again, you'll be sorry. Again, surprisingly more effective than I'd expected it to be. The teeth don't really do a whole lot. The ramming capability is what really does it. Like, the teeth, I guess, kind of hold the robot in place to allow better ramming, but it's not great for damage. Death Valley 2 is the same as ever. Gladiator is this new robot I've been working on. This is a robot because I decided because I was thinking about like what I would do if I made another hammer bot. Like Brimstone is old hat at this point. I'm just letting it compete in 1.5 because it's been meaning to compete in that for like a year now. But I've been thinking about like potential other hammer bots, and I'd made Gladiator to be like the brother to Barbarian essentially, where Barbarian is like this robot with like a million weapons. Gladiator would be like this more, would be this big, overbearing hammer bot. Problem was, like, I'd made Gladiator as a heavyweight originally, and it was clear that my intentions for it were a bit much. So I made it as a super heavyweight now. And yeah, I quite like it. It's got two-wheel E-Tech drive, it's got a strong steel wedge, and it's got this geared beta motor hammer, which just, like, you can see, like, the speed. It's got this massive hammerhead. Like, it does quite a nice bit of damage. I still need to get the non-damaging wedgelets mod, because those wedgelets aren't me thinking, ooh, wedgelet spam, that'll be great. No, because Robottal Wars isn't going to have damaging wedgelets. It's just, I keep forgetting to download the mod. I just want these wedgelets here for low ground clearance. Oh, also there's flamethrowers, because I love using flamethrowers. Yeah, the idea here is just simple, but hopefully effective, because I want to have that kind... I've always wanted to kind of have this kind of hammer bot, and I decided Gladiator, I don't want it to be boring, so I mean, you look at the design and you think boring, but I decided I would have it have like the most overkill weapons possible, just the big E-Tech drive and the big geared beta motor with like all these counterweights. So hopefully, that'll make it good. Who knows? Alright, let's sin for a bit. Let's just see out what Poison Jab Ultimate can do. Oh dear. I want to point out, it's perfectly fine if you make Typhoon verts. I get it, like, the option's there, and I'm not saying Typhoon verts are even bad. I've always liked making robots that are a little bit more alternative. So for me, making Typhoon verts is such a rarity. Who knows, maybe Poison Jab Ultimate will be that gateway robot for me. Because I've been playing with Poison Jab Ultimate a few times, and it is just fun to just do this. Oh, I mean, this is a super heavyweight taking on a heavyweight. I feel like this might not be the most fair fight ever. I mean, saying that, Mastodon actually has more Typhoons than me. Yay! To explain why the wedge is as weird as it is, it's because the vertical version of Poison Jab has those little things, and I was like, if I was to make a version of that Poison Jab, but like its own thing, I would have to make those arms like a lot thicker. And then I just had this idea in my mind of this buff-armed Poison Jab. I wonder if it would be at all possible to make a good grabber and lifter for like lighter weight classes. Well, I guess we're gonna find out that answer in this episode. Let's do it! Alright, here is the prototype of middleweight Death Valley. Ooh, that's not enough. That's nowhere near enough lift. Okay, we've counted the first problem. This needs way more. The grabber part needs a little bit more height, because at the moment that thing barely even gets up. Like, how is it for lift? Yeah, there's a nice bit of lift to it, but yeah, that definitely needs sorting. It's slow. It's a little bit slow, but I guess I kind of expected that. I mean, as long as it keeps frontwards on, it probably wouldn't be that bad. But yeah, it definitely needs some more work. I could just stick to it being a cruiserweight, and then... But then, obviously, cruiserweight... I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here, but it's either going to end up being compacted into a middleweight, or it's going to be taken up to a up to a cruiserweight. But that'll be for another episode, because I think we have done a lot in this episode. I think, yeah, we need to bring that motor up a bit more so we can get more lift with the main part of the weapon. But otherwise, this has been a pretty interesting little episode. We've gone over a lot, as usual. And honestly, I think this could be a fun little project as we start to make robots for other weight classes. Anyway, thank you all for watching. If you did, please remember to leave a like on this video, share this video with your friends. It genuinely does help me out to get these videos, you know, on more eyes. We're actually very close to 700 subscribers now, which is honestly kind of impressive. I didn't, you know, I don't know when that's going to be, but honestly, I'm genuinely excited for when that happens. So I want to thank you all in advance for that. I will obviously thank you when we reach that goal as well. But yeah, we'll be going over that. The Battlebots videos with Gingermatic, where we go over where we use the Battlebots pack, that will be coming soon. Here's a little peek. I'm over here. Oh, no, that didn't actually knock you into the pit.
Oh, God.
Oh! Yes!
Oh!
Yeah! And yeah, there's more videos along the coming along the pipeline. Again, apologies for the wait. Again, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!